Good morning, guys. Good morning. Here we are again, back at you. Kminustwo, showing you the daily routine, back again. Here we are now on my, hard to believe, here we are, 182nd day of my 2,774 day journey to my challenge of $500,000 net worth. 7 years. I have less than 7 years now to get my net worth to $500,000. And here we are. I mean, the challenges are before me. So you guys know, here I am lately. Again, I've been going through challenges with taking L's in my food budget, taking L's in my overall budget, but mainly my food budget, getting that right, coordinating my HelloFresh meals coming to me right now, and seeing how that can coordinate with everything else, with spending less and on food out and about, because I'm driving so many hours throughout the 24-hour period, and coordinating also make sure I'm eating properly, eating well, eating proportion. So you guys know that I was diagnosed with diabetes. My diabetic numbers were up, so I'm focusing on that lately. Changed my diet around a little bit and changed my life around a little bit. I had to modify that, and which was taking effect. It is still taking effect on my gig work at night, because I decided to. Now, there's some nights I stay out a little bit later than I want to, but generally speaking, I come home and I get it done. I get her done, stay home, get her done. I come home and cook, and sometimes I have my HelloFresh meals. Sometimes I will stop at like a Panda Express and grab a decent meal that's nutritionally decent for me. So I'll do that as well. And it's been modifying, getting some focus on, the biggest thing also, guys, is just focusing on sleep patterns, my sleep. And sometimes I'll take melatonin at night. That tends to help me get into my REM sleep, my deeper sleep. And so that's helping a little bit. It's all about, establishing that pattern, establishing a routine. And the habit goes through routine. I have to go through that process with my eating habits, eating proportion now, and learning things I should be eating, right? That's healthier for me, right? Even with the fruits, it's amazing, you guys. You just don't realize. Everybody say eat fruits and vegetables. Well, not all fruits are equal, right? I'm just learning how stuff like grapes and watermelon are bad for diabetics. That kind of thing. Their high natural sugar levels are too high for people to maintain their sugar levels and stuff like that. So stuff like that, man. Just learning and watching what I eat, and stuff I used to eat, just can't. You got to eat in proportion, and that's the big thing that I have to focus on. All right, guys.
Welcome back to McDonald's.
Getting some coffee here.
The mobile app today.
I'll take a medium coffee, 1 sugar, 1 cream.
All right. Anything else for you?
That should do it.
All right. That'll be $1.52 for the first window.
And so, even with having my McDonald's coffee, that's not an everyday thing anymore. That's like an every other thing. And then I used to get 3 and 3. Now I only get 1 and 1. 1 sugar, 1 cream. Good morning.
Got you at $1.50. Did you want that receipt back?
No, I'm good. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Yep. Have a good one. And so that's where it's at, guys. So I have to just like in my financial life, man, like what we talk about all the time, right? You have to tweak a little bit, modify, and to be successful, you have to be open-minded, right? Thank you. You too. All right, guys. Got my coffee on the way. Let's get on with my day.
We have a verdict from the jury. In the Sean Diddy Combs trial, we're told they sent a note just a few moments ago that the jury has reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides.
All right, guys, on the road, doing my thing, man. Getting my day done. I have a full day ahead of me. On my full-time route right now, and my mind is focused on at the end of the day what I have to do today and getting through my day and getting home satisfied that I put my work in today. But I wanted to expound on something I told you guys about earlier. I wanted to just kind of finish up the conversation about my health, and then I'll talk to you guys about something else I want to tell you about. But you know, it's about managing my sugar levels, managing my glucose levels. That's all about portion control when I eat, then what I eat. It's not necessarily, I found out, I had a meeting actually with a diabetes specialist nurse, and my girlfriend, she's a nurse, so I took her with me just to have another ear on the side when I had the meeting. She was telling me about, the nurse was telling me about that, yeah, it's about what you eat, not really when you eat, really. I was focused on, eating at a certain time at night, getting back home. And you still want to, be strategic about that, because you have to get home at a certain time to get your rest, get your sleep, right? So that's a big part of it. Doesn't really affect that your food when you eat sometimes. It's a lot of it's what you eat and your portion control and certain foods that will spike your blood sugar. So you got to be very cognizant of stuff like that. And people always tell you that, oh, just eat your fruits and vegetables, right? Wrong. I'm learning even your fruits, you got to be careful what certain kind of fruits you eat. Very, very particular. You thinking that all fruits are good? And not really, right? And so stuff like watermelon, for example, grapes, even ripe bananas, you got to be very careful about. That will spike your blood sugar. Yeah. Fruits have natural sugars in it, guys, and it sucks too, because I love my grapes. I love my green grapes and my other grapes. So watermelon, I like my watermelon. I like bananas, and so all those things, man. Cherries, another one. Boom, will spike your blood sugar and get your blood sugar out of whack. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. Be very careful with that. So anybody don't know anything about diabetes, being diabetic, it's all about your blood sugar. The foods you eat have sugars in them, and they get in your bloodstream, and your body can't produce the insulin that takes care of that regulation process. Then you're stuck with having your blood sugar spike and your glucose levels in your body being out of whack, and which causes diabetic numbers to increase and cause you to be a diabetic, which can lead to other complications and other things. So, but yeah, man. So it's just about watching what I do, and it's a challenge because for me, guys, you guys know my goals. What I'm shooting for this year: $45,000, increase my net worth to $45,000, I should say, and increasing my net worth in 7 years to a $500,000 ticket, right? $500,000. And so when I cut back on my gig work, that affects that, because majority of my money that I'm throwing into these investments and throwing into my emergency fund and throwing into all my sinking funds, for example, guys, and throwing into my brokerage accounts is coming from my gig work, right? And so I cut back on my gig work. I'm short changing my goals, and I just have to realize that if I have to do that, I have to slow down, not get pissed off about it, not be upset about it, and just take it as it is and be very grateful where I am right now. And I have to rely on my gratitude journal, man, some days, because I have to, don't get ahead of myself. I had to focus on where life is right now and enjoy my life. I tell you guys all the time, one of my biggest things about myself, man, one of my biggest challenges for myself and things I have to work on for myself is, hey, enjoy the ride, right? Put a smile on my face and enjoy the ride. Enjoy my present, right? I have to really focus on that. We all have something to work on, right, guys? And that's one of the things I have to work on is, hey, scale back, bro. Relax. Be grateful, right? I am grateful, but jump into your gratitude journal and get a perspective on the present and enjoy your present. Enjoy the journey. In other words, enjoy the journey, right? Okay. So, on this P. Diddy thing, you guys, I've given you guys a little snippet. All we heard about the last month and a half, last couple of months has been about P. Diddy, right? It's the P. Diddy case. He's going through it in court right now on this situation. Tough situation. Hey, hope for the best for him. But I won't talk too much about that. I just want to kind of mention it a little bit. But what I'm going to say to you guys is unrelated to that. Unrelated, but somewhat related to it, somewhat unrelated to it. Mostly unrelated is to talk about my fellas out there, my guys out there, my single guys out there in particular, is to be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. What does that mean? Well, a multitude of levels. When I say be quiet, it's a different world now, guys. I'm talking to you guys that are your 20s and 30s, your 40s even some of our guys right now, even some of us older folks in our 50s, right? It's for all you fellas, right? All you single guys, but particularly you younger single guys that are into the world now, learning about yourselves and your money. Some of you guys are in debt coming out of college, or you're single now, you got your good job, but you're struggling with your money, trying to tell your money what to do, but you have to learn about you and your money and get out of debt, and you got dreams and goals and aspirations. But you're dating as well, I'm not one of these guys that say you can't date. I'm just telling you guys to be very strategic about it, be very intentional about it, okay? Because these women are different nowadays. It's different when it was 20, 25, 30, 40 years ago, guys. Be very leery. I'm just telling you right now, as a guy that OG that's been through it, I've been on this world, been on this planet for 57 years now. I've dated before, guys. Remember, I was your age before. I'm not an expert. I've never been married, so I can't say I'm an expert. I don't have no long-term marital relationship. So, I can't say I've been, I'm a perfectionist in this whole situation. I can't say I'm a perfect person to take advice from. I'm just giving from my perspective. I have dated before. I have had relationships. I have some short-term and long-term relationships. So, I am dating now. A lady. So, but I'm just saying, man, it's my personal opinion for you young guys that when you court somebody or date somebody, we called it courting back in the day. That's what we called it. But when you dating someone, interest somebody, understands a different world now with social media, and these women's mindsets now have changed than it was years ago. Ain't no loyalty out there when it comes to these females now, guys. And when I say this, I'll preface this by saying there's good women out there, but I think there's more manipulative women out there more than anything today, and disloyal women. And their mindset is not focused on, relationships, good relationships, or your best interests. So when you're dating somebody or trying to date somebody for the first time, I would say write down your questions. It sounds a little corny, but I would say write down your questions before you meet somebody or you talk to somebody online. Have those questions in your mind. Be very intentional and strategic about who you talk to, guys, and who you share your time with. And that it comes to the females too, not just in your circle, your guy circle, or your people in the hood that you grew up with, or people around you right now. Be very, very careful. This financial health thing is about who you choose to associate with, who you choose to bring into your inner circle. because that can affect your mindset, your body, your mind, body, and soul. We're going forward. These females, you get involved with the wrong female, and get your emotions out there. That can take away from your money. Money ain't everything, but it is everything when you're trying to get ahead in life. When you're trying to get ahead for your future family, your dreams, goals, and aspirations for your future, and for your peace of mind going forward, right? These females can drain you, man. You get around the wrong Debbie Downer, you get around the wrong, negative Nancy, you get around the wrong downtrodden, right? The downtrodden can downtrodden your life. So when you dating these females, ask a lot of questions, a lot of poignant questions, right? Right at their heart, mind, body, and soul, right? You want to be vague. I think you want to be vague a little bit about financially. When I say be quiet, hey, don't bring your nice Gucci watch, don't bring your nice your bling, your ice to the dates, right? Have more coffee dates than 5-star restaurant dates. That's for sure, right? I ain't trying to blow all your money on these females, man. Get to know these females. Hey, if they ain't down with a coffee date, they ain't down with no date, right? Get to know these females at a coffee date. You spend less money getting to know them, and ask a lot of questions when you get to know them, right? And like I said before, you don't have to go all deep into the financial when you first know them. When you first get to know them, I should say. You can ask some vague questions. Like I said, it's gonna sound a lot corny when I say that, but hey, nothing wrong with preparing your questions before you talk to somebody. Even online, man. You meet these chicks online. These, your social media sites online, for example. These dating sites. Ain't nothing wrong with writing out your questions and getting your questions in your mind before you make that first hello, that first greeting. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Hey, nothing wrong with that. They ain't got to know what you're doing. They don't see you like that. But get to know these females. I'm not one of these old fogies out there that say, hey, you can't date. Hey, man, I was 20, 30 before. I know, that little head. These women look good out there. That ass and those titties and that face looks good, right? And they can say certain things to get to your manhood, right? And you get to the point where your little head is really speaking very loudly, right? And thinking very loudly over your big head, right? And can sway your thought processes, right? Can throw you off kilter when it comes to you going out and grinding and getting your hustle on and getting your money on, right? Getting that bag, right? Because these females out there, man, can really, they're manipulative, right? They're more manipulative than they were. They always have been, manipulative, and there's always been gold diggers out there, guys. But they know who's getting that bag out there. These women have that sixth sense. They know who's getting that bag. And that's why I say be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. And also when you talk to somebody, when I say be quiet, it's about what you bring to the table, what you say on the table, right? And what you portray yourself to the table. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring no blame. You got a nice car, don't talk about it when you first meet somebody. Be quiet. You got a nice sports car, you want to, I know how it is. You want to blab to everybody, right? Just like when you get out of debt. When I got out of debt, I started talking to everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Be quiet. Now, when you guys hear me on here, you've seen me talk about where I am financially. I show you my accounts, show you my money and all that kind of stuff. That's different because I'm trying to be an example. I'm showing you guys example. I'm showing you guys. If anybody just dive into the channel right now, they're going, this guy's bragging about his money, bragging about his net worth and his accounts. His Roth IRA and all that. But they don't know. You long-term guys know, but they don't know. If someone just comes to the channel right now and see me talk to you guys about my daily rituals and showing my money and showing what I'm doing, showing my net worth and how I'm being an example for you guys. I'm giving out hope. It's a different story than someone just someone that's not online like I am and meet somebody online, for example, on social media or meet them on a dating site and go on a date with them. That's the person I'm talking to. You single guys out there, be very careful. And what you bring to the table, be careful. Don't talk about your possessions. Don't talk about how much money you're making. Keep that hush-hush. And you can talk in a vague sense about all that kind of stuff. You'll keep the conversation going. But scale back on what you bring to the table as far as that goes. And, show up plain Jane, man. No ice, no watches, you know what I'm saying? No bling around your neck, no studs, you know, just come plain Jane and talk about, you know, and when I say be quiet, more ears than mouth, right? Listen more than you talk, that kind of thing, right? To get to know these females, right? And you fall from the wrong female, man, that could be detrimental to your financial goals. Money and everything, but it is everything when it comes to you, your goals, dreams, and aspirations. Don't let these people out here fool you, talking about, oh, you focus on money. You're damn right I'm focused on money. I live in a capitalist country, right? That we have to focus on, you know, paying our bills, you know, and funding our dreams and goals and aspirations. You damn right it's all about the money. And so don't let these people out here fool you. These downtrodden people out here, these so-called religious downtrodden people out here tell you that, God will take care of you. Jesus take care of you. Guys, don't believe none of this stuff out here, okay? Don't get caught up. But focus on you and what you have to focus on. And these females out here can take away from your goals and dreams and aspirations if you dive off in the wrong one. You let that little head speak for you. You let that little head dream for you. You let that little head make decisions for you. I get it, right? I'm a man. I was a young man before. I know where your mind is at, and it's very imperative that you don't let these manipulative women take your dreams away from you. And like I said, man, this is my personal opinion. Like I said before, I know there's good women out there, but there's a lot of, from my perspective, there's a lot of bad women out there today. I'm talking about young and old, guys. And it's a different world with social media. These women out here, they love the likes. They love these guys fall all over them. You know, it's predicated on the simps out there. The more simps in the world, the more they get like this because they're used to it. And they actually expect you to fall all over them and you to pay for their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Paying for them, paying for that bag they get. You know, paying for these purses. You know what I'm saying? Paying for that Gucci. You know what I'm saying? And they want to know what kind of bag you got. So that's what I'm saying. Be very quiet, right? Be very quiet, right? Poker face, right, guys? So I just want to, you know, give my 2 cents, man. From an OG, from a guy that's 57 years old, been in the dating world for a long time. I was once a guy that I told myself that I was going to be by myself for the rest of my life. Like I said, I'm dating right now. I've been dating a girl. But it took me a while to make that decision because for one point, for like 5 or 6 years, I was just, you know, by myself, focus on my grind, focus on my money, focus on getting my net worth to where I wanted to be. And so I made that decision to date again, made that decision to court this female and get into a relationship with her. But I'm still very cautious. I tell you guys to be very cautious as well. And it's a process, right? And so just don't dive off in anything, man. Watch these females, because I'm telling you right now, they watching you. They watching your mannerisms. They watching how you speak. They watching that bling around your neck. They watching that watch. They watching that nice car that you promoting online, right? So be very, very careful, man, and don't give away the bag. Be very, very careful about that, right? All right, guys, so that's all I got to say on that, man. I'll talk more about, you know, these kind of things as I go forward, talking to you guys about my journey and giving you guys my personal experiences. I got a lot of, with the things I just talked to you guys about, I got a lot of history, a lot of experience in that, man, that field. So reason why I talk like this, reason why my mindset's focused on that, reason why I'm talking to you guys about those kind of things, because it's very imperative. I think it's good for you young guys to hear someone that's 57, an OG that can give you guys this thought process and this wisdom and some of my experiences to you guys. All right, guys. That's all I got to say about that. All right, let's continue on.
Well, guys, today has been a roller coaster already, man. This morning we got the ADP payrolls report, and man, we came in lighter than expected on adding new jobs to the economy. And the market started going down. Pre-market, boom, already started going down, right? And then all of a sudden, President Trump comes to the rescue. He says he has a trade deal with Vietnam, and that kind of turns things around a little bit. But here's the thing. Is that a sign that we are coming on some rough waters? I think it is. And I think the only group can save us is the Federal Reserve with reducing interest rates. What are you talking about, man? Well, I'm talking about the economy. See, what we're starting to see, guys, is a weakening in the labor market.
Well, if you guys asked me what I was been feeling lately about where I'm at, my goals, and where I'm at right now, how I'm feeling. I mean, I talked to you guys earlier about how my goals were predicated on how the market is doing. I put a lot of stock in, you know, in the United States, you either put your stock, your efforts into owning a business, growing a business, or you put your efforts into, you know, acquiring property, physical property, or either investing in physical property or things such as REITs, real estate investment trust, to take advantage of the real estate market, you know, either buying multi-family homes or, you know, private residence or commercial properties or residential properties, whatever. So you put your energy into that, or you put your energy into the stock market, right? Or all of the above, right? And so I put my energy into the history of the stock market. It's not guaranteed, of course. I know that. I don't need anybody to tell me it's not guaranteed. You know, it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But you have to go off the history of the stock market, and you're going to have going into it, you have to be naive to know that it's not just going to go up, even though that's been the proven history of the stock market, that it's always bounced back and has over the years have increased and went up in numbers. But you have to be naive not to know that it's going to bounce. It's going to go ping pong, right? It's going to be up and down, up and down. You're going to have extenuating factors where it's going to make it go up and down like that. But so I know that. I knew getting involved with, you know, making my goals for the year and for my 7-year journey of $500,000 ticket, $500,000, you know, challenge. I knew that it was going to be up, you know, these kind of days where it's up and down, up and down, up and down. And you're going to have presidents come in and make their decisions on things. You're going to have laws that bills that come into place that turn into laws that can, you know, affect the stock market. You know, you're going to have your economy that are good economy, bad economy. You're going to have your unemployment. You're going to have so, you know, it all depends, man. It all depends. So, you know, you got to be able to take that with the good and the bad, right? So I have to just ride with it, and I have to rely on my research. And my research tells me that throughout the history of the stock market, well, it's done fairly well through wars, through presidents, through assassinations, through good times, bad times, through riots, through the civil rights movement, even through pandemics, right? It's bounced back. I was up in Minneapolis when George Floyd got killed in Minneapolis. That whole, you know, fiasco with the cop, you know, kneeling with his knee on George Floyd's neck, and the riots that ensued, right? Burning down the buildings and whatever that ensued after the George Floyd got killed, that whole thing. I was up there. I lived it. During the marches up there, I lived it. And look how we've come along since that time, right? The market took a while, but the market's bounced back through the pandemic as well. And so, and you're gonna have your bear markets. You know, you're gonna have your time where the market is down, but you're also gonna have your bull markets when the time when the market is up. So I'm I'm just betting on what I know, and hey, it's not, like I said, what I tell you guys is this is not going to be a guaranteed thing, and I'm just going off what I think I know. Well, I hope I know, and that the stock market benefits me during my 7-year journey and helps boost up my net worth to where I want it to be. So where my goals are right now, guys, I can tell you guys right now, we talked about it before, how my medical condition, medical diagnosis kind of changed that around like a little bit, kind of boost up some things, kind of push some of my goals down a little bit. I had 5 goals, and my main goal for the year of 2025 is the main goal. I'm going full charge in, all gung-ho in, is all out in, and that is of course, my emergency fund. I allow my emergency fund to get down. I feel bad about that. And, ever since my mom passed away a couple years ago, ever since that time, my emergency fund has been taking hits, and I really never put money into replacing it. I assumed that it was going to be replaced, and I kind of dropped the ball on that a little bit. So I'm upset at myself a little bit about that, but it's going to be okay, because it's just a matter of being intentional about it. And and I keep saying that I'm going to have to do a video about that, but it's about replacing that emergency fund. There's great to have it in place, but you have to replace it when something happens as well. I mean, so I put a plan in place, and my plan is to get that where I want it to be before. I remember, my emergency fund is always around the $15,000 mark, and I wanted to get to that point again. Right now, the initial point I wanted at is $12,500. I can deal with that because I have other sidebar sinking funds. I have those in place as well. So when you got decent to strong sinking funds, you can have your emergency fund somewhat subpar a little bit. But for me, I have to go all out because I want to make sure all my stuff is in place as I move forward with my HSA, and that's the next one. Number 2 is my HSA. So number 1 is my emergency fund, getting that up to $12,500. We talked about this, my last goal planning. I got another goal planning coming up here, guys, most likely at the end of the month here in July. Talk to you guys about my goal planning going forward, where I'm at, my net worth. That's going to be a net worth update coming up here soon after the end of the year ends. That car replacement fund is going to shoot up to number 2. So it's going to be number 1 HSA, number 2 car replacement fund, and then that, of course, the emergency fund is going to drop lower on the list. So we'll deal with that time when the time comes. So there we are, man. That's where I'm now. That's what I'm dealing with now. That's what my mind's at. My focus on is to focus on that emergency fund and focus on the HSA, and I'll keep charging forward, guys. And so that's where we at, man. Just want to give you guys a little tip and information of what's coming, what I'm focused on, and what's coming up next in the next update in the month here, next money update, and the next net worth update. All right, guys. All right, man. All right, let's do a little gratitude action here today. Need a little gratitude. 7-2. All right. Independent. Taking advantage of my position of independence, I'm messing all that up, am I? Independence in America. Taking advantage of my independence in America. I'm grateful for that, and independence and grabbing keys. can grab my keys, walk out my door, and start my car. Simple. Can do that. Can grab my keys and take advantage of my independence. This is something that I cannot forget about. Cannot forget about being in this country that allows me afford me the luxury to do. And it seems very simple. It seems somewhat trivial to some people, but for me, to keep it all real within my mind, body, and soul, I have to always remember that. And something I had to realize, even when I was up in my 40s, I had to come to that realization. And this is the process of what I learned over the years of having that immigrant mentality. That's what I have, and that's what really pushed me over. And I'm going to have to do a video on that. But when I had a chance to meet the right people and gave me the right energy, the right headspace, that's why I can write these kind of things in my gratitude journal. Gig work. Able to make the money to fund investments. Potential. I'm just writing crazy, am I? Potential growth, potential money growth. Having the freedom. So I guess I could have put freedom too, but having the freedom to do it. And that is my gratitude journal for today, July 2nd. All right, guys, so I had to run some errands after work, so a little bit behind today, getting off to a late start with my gig work, but I'm back at it, guys. I've been doing the same. You guys haven't seen me for a few weeks, and I haven't been showing my daily grind for a few weeks, but truth be, you have to know that I've been doing the same old thing every day. There's been some days off, rare days off that I've taken. One day I took off just because I had to edit a video, my last video, and I wanted to relax a little bit. But so it's hard for me to get in that state of mind, guys, where I just have to relax, tell myself relax. But that's how I am, man. I'm go. Once I get up and go in the morning, I'm go until late at night. So that's how it's been for me, guys. I guess I just, you train your body. Your body get accustomed to it, right? You've been doing it for so long, so many years, right? So, but I'm training myself to wind down a little more. We talked about it before this morning, and easing into my rest, getting focused on better sleep, big part of it, and just relaxation, So here I am, man. Also, I do my work, I do my gig work, but there's times where if I may have a goal, let's say I have a goal of 150 a night, for example, right? Or 100 a night. If I get close, I'll just call it, right? You guys know I talked about earlier how when I go out on each gig, like I do Spark, which covers deliveries for Sam's Club and Walmart, and I do the other thing called Go Puff, which is a grocery store fulfillment app. My goal on each one of those, let's say I equally do each one of them, a night. Well, my goal is $100 in each one. That's $200. So, you gotta look at it like this. If I'm doing my gig work 6 days a week and I do $200, my average $200 each night, well, that's a $1,200 pay week, right? So that's great. And that's more than enough for my goals, right? Even if I do excuse me, even if I do $200 for 5 days a week, that's $1,000. Well, as it stands right now, that's even over my goal. My goal is between $700 and $750, right? So it doesn't take too much for me to get my goal, because I know that my goal is, you times $750 times 52 weeks. Think about that. You guys got a calculator? Add that up, right? And that correlates to all my goals, guys. And that correlates for me putting money in my emergency fund, all my sinking funds, and all my investments, and so forth and so on. Brokerage accounts. So, but how am I feeling? I remember I told you guys I was feeling down. Well, you guys know I was feeling down and tired and worn out. You guys kind of figure out now why I was feeling that way. And but I believe I have a hold of it, and we'll take it from there. But don't forget, like I said before, the workout part of it is you got to have that workout component to it. You got to have that movement. Got to have that not necessarily cardio, but you do have to have that workout component to it. Intense workout, right? It's a type of cardio. You just can't get up there and jump on the treadmill and just go and methodically. You have to go at it, right? Got to get it down. So I want to be able to do this and do it the right way. I can't just keep going after my goals and not focus on anything else. We talked about the other three healths right there. The physical health, the mental health and spiritual health, right? So what do you guys, I want to get back to you guys. What are you guys doing? And which part of your goal plan? Give me some goals. What are you guys shooting for that you're having problems with? About Kminustwo, what I've taken my L's in recently, anything you guys have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? It'd be great to hear from yourselves what you're having issues with, what you're fighting for, which some of your goals you're shooting for in a 3-month span, 6-month span for the year of 2025. It'd be nice to hear from you guys and what you're shooting for. If you could, drop it down in the comment section. You guys are also welcome to send me a personal email. I put my email in the box down below. If you have any issues with your budgeting, for example, let's get your budgeting right so that I can put you on a platform to build wealth, right? You can't build wealth unless you take care of that money coming in, right? And you want to tell your money where to go, but your money has to go somewhere, and then you can tell it where to go, and then you can dictate where it goes, right? I'm headed to over here across the river. I kind of didn't want to go all the way over here this far. I was way over in North Omaha, and now I had to cross the river across the river to the Manawa. It's called Manawa, the Manawa Walmart over here. So didn't want to go this far, but it is what it is, and I'm taking an order that comes to me first. I'm taking it. So here I am, guys. It's not as much as I want to, and it's getting late, so I'm behind. There's no doubt about it. I'm behind right now, but I'm gonna want to knock this order out as fast as I can, and then get to the next order before a certain time. And some people have told me or made a suggestion to me that can you get rid of your gig work? Well, it's easy to say that, but this is such a big part of what I do. This is such a big part of my goal planning. This is such a big part of my dreams. And we talked about earlier how I put maybe not a good idea to put a lot of stock into the stock market, going off the history of the stock market, but maybe it's not a good idea to put a lot of stock into the gig work, right? But that's a chance I take. So I know I'm not going to stop my gig work because that was all part of my goal planning, right? You got to remember, guys, most of the money I'm putting in all my extra stuff, all my funds, all my accounts, as far as my brokerage accounts and all my investing, is coming from my gig work, right? If I'm making $40,000 a year, $36,000 to $40,000 a year on gig work, well, majority of that money, there's some for taxes, there's some for maintenance and so forth and so on. but you know, a good 70% of that money, you know, 60-70% of that money is going to go to into all my extra stuff. You know, before I scale back on my brokerage account, guys, $1,000 was going to just investing, and another $1,000 was going to savings. That's $2,000, right? $2,000 a month. And so, which is right now at this point well over the total money I'm making for my gig work. So you can see this, it's pretty substantial. All right, guys, going in here to pick up what I got to pick up, and hopefully they ain't got me waiting long to pick up my order, because I'm ready to get this and go. I'm already behind, and your K-2 is want to get my stuff and go and be out the door, okay? I got things to do. Okay, guys, I'm still doing Spark. I've done a run or two and get ready to do another, but kind of a slow day, slow methodical day. So remember what I just said about I'm gonna keep on trucking, I'm gonna keep going at it, I'm gonna keep fighting. No matter how tough it gets or obstacles come my way. I just did a route and stopped earlier, guys. I'm going, hey, forget what I just said. Scratch that, scratch that. I just had to stop where I had to deliver a big order to a lady that was down the stairs in the basement, and I had to carry like a couple of cases of water and many bags downstairs to this lady. Wasn't a lot of stairs, but it was the fact that I had to come from outside in through the entryway and then go down the stairs. Well, this lady had, like I said, this lady had two big old things of water and so forth and so on. So I got a cart, and so from the parking lot, I put stuff in the cart and took that cart to the lady's door, but then I had to go from the front door down to her apartment down the stairs. So that was a task, kind of wore me out a little bit. Whew. As I get older, I'm going, how long can I do this? I mean, 57, how long can I keep doing stuff like this where like I'm already like have a sore back, and today's been a rough day anyway, not really feeling the best. So hey, whatever I just said to you guys earlier, scratch that, okay? No, but you're gonna have tough days, man. You're gonna have days where you're thinking to yourself, shit, man, I got how many days left in this challenge? You know what I mean? You got days like, you gonna have days like that. Today is one of those days. So it's slow. It don't seem like a lot of money coming in, and it's just one of those days. But and then you'll have the days where everything's just going right. Boom, 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 and you'll come back home with, you know, a $250 night or something like that, right? So anyway, on my way, man. On my way, guys. If I can find this particular address here. Willow. All right, guys. So like I said before, I always want to tell you guys that, hey, I'm available I've helped people out throughout my journey, and I'm always willing to, don't have a lot of time, but I'm always willing to help people out there that need some help with their budgeting, for example, and to get their numbers right, get their figures right. And if you know anyone that needs help, I may not be available for a long period of time, but I can at least ask some questions and set aside an hour or two to go back and forth with questions and help someone be on the right path to take care of their business, okay? So, all right, guys, so I'm going to get back to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and handle this, and then I'll get back to you a little later. The gig work is here to stay. It ain't going nowhere. It is here to stay for anybody that want to do it and make some extra money to feed their goals for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, or whatever that may be. Anybody that thought that it was going away is not going away. There's some down times in the gig market, guys, throughout the year, but depending on what part of the country you guys live in, man, it's a great way to pump up your goals, you know. So I just want to throw that out there and get back to you guys, let you know I just got done my long route. So I crossed over the river, went far south, and ended far south. So I'm going back now to cross the back to the river. This don't mean anything to you guys, but talking to you guys, let you know where I'm at, what I'm doing, how give you some perspective, how far this thing is out. You know, how far this, how many miles you can get into doing gig work where I am. So it's about 20 some miles, yeah, about 20 miles to go where I need to go. So you can easily, you know, you can easily put on, you know, over 100 miles in a night, that's for sure, depending on where you go. So, but going okay. I'm having a slower week. But, and as I talked to you guys last time, and just I got to keep that in perspective and be cognizant of what I'm thinking is to keep myself focused on what I have to do. So that's where it's at, man. And sometimes, man, that just requires me to be done for the night. You know, simple as that. And if it takes me to be done for the night and end my goals short, and go home and work out or go to the gym and run a little bit, do a little cardio, whether it's even 30 minutes, just do extreme cardio, increase the intensity a little bit. And that's a good workout, good way to, you know, keep focused and staying in shape what I have to do. It don't have to be, you know, extreme like I used to be when I was playing football. It ain't got to be that extreme. You know, my 2-day workouts, it ain't got to be that extreme, but it's got to be some activity to keep me, you know, in line and focus on, you know, the eating proportion right, eating right, you know, eating good food, and
use the right lane to
I
take
can
the
still, you know,
275 north
eat
ramp.
some things, but I can't get carried away like I was before. But it's just about keeping everything in perspective.
Continue for half a mile.
So that's what I'm thinking, guys. I took off Monday. Last night, I got, what did I get last night? 162, 161, something like that. Tonight, I'm not going to get so high. It's not going to be that high tonight. I might get like, it looks like I might get like
Continue on I-29
135, 140 maybe. So not too bad, man. Not too bad. Not too bad. Like I said, I want to get $100 on each app. Matter of fact, I'm still doing Spark, guys. I'm still doing Spark. I'm not even switched over to GoPuff and probably won't tonight. And where I'm going to end up is going to be close to my apartment, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it. We are over the halfway point mark, guys. I know it, and I know. It's come so quick. It goes so fast, don't it? And hey, look, guys, I got news for you guys who are just getting ready to turn 50. Here's the breaking news. When you turn 50, time goes faster, guys. I know you don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it now. I'm 57. When you turn 50, anything north of that, time goes faster. So whatever you're going to do, you have to rev it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Put a little pep and step in your walk to take care of what you got to take care of. You know, fast forward those dreams. Fast forward those actions towards your dreams. Because time is limited for you as far as what you have to do. Right? That's how you have to think. Not to put too much pressure on you guys, but you gotta put you can be relaxed, but you can't be too relaxed where you can't forget about putting some intentionality in there, right? So it's got to be a mix of, yeah, it can be a little mix of relaxation in your bowl, but when you stir it up, it better be some intentionality up in there. It better be some, you know, due diligence up in there. You know what I'm saying? Forthright. Go after it. So here I am, headed to probably my last one for the night. It's not quite 7 o'clock yet, though, so I might, well, who knows? This is going to end by my house. I know that because when they give me the run, the delivery run, I can see where all the addresses are. So this is going to be not too far from my house. So I may just end it there. We'll see. All right, guys. Rolling on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for show and tell. So I am done with my one app today. I just did Spark today. I did not even attempt to do my other app, which is GoPuff. And it's time for show and tell. So this is what I did today. There we go. 301 total. You guys see that? Whoops. Whoops. Okay, so you guys see that? So if I hit that button, that'll break it down. Oh, it's already broken down. Okay, so you see what I did today. Subtract that 53 there down below for Wednesday. That's from yesterday. Sometimes, a lot of times I'll get either leftover tips and whatnot from the previous day. Okay, so you see that total there, 137 plus there's up top there, you see the $3. So that's 140 altogether. So 160 yesterday, 140 today equals a total of 301. Hey, look, I like to, tomorrow's Thursday, you know, I like to have $400 going into Thursday, but I would accept, you know, the first 3 days of the week. It's not what I want, but I accept $100 each day. It's a bare minimum, but I would like to have, I mean, it's there. You know, it's not the best, but like I said, I would like to have $400 going into Thursday. Now tomorrow I like to have a big day. I'm gonna take, most likely I'm gonna take off the 4th, so I only got until tomorrow, and then I may do a little work on, I'm not gonna do a lot of work on this 4th weekend, guys. Like I said before, the 4th weekend is the July 4th weekend is one of my special, my favorite holiday throughout the year, and I'm gonna take some time to myself. So I'm gonna work Thursday, I'm gonna work a little bit of Sunday, and I have Monday off as well. So there you go, man, there you go. So it's not gonna be the best, but so what? I have the rest of the month to make it up, and I'm gonna have to just grind it and make it up. And I think, look, listen to me talk, guys. Listen to me talk. You're gonna go, is that K minus 2? Is that K minus 2 talking? Yeah, that's K minus 2 talking, guys. It's okay. I got to tell myself it's okay. All right? I've grinded hard for all these years, you know, going way back to 2013, 12 years ago, even further back, right? It's okay to take off a couple days. You know what, guys? I know. It's hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to even believe myself, but I'm saying it. It's okay for me to take off for some days and have time to myself and time to rejoice and time to enjoy the fruit of my labor. Even though I'm not done yet, it's that time. But more importantly, man, it's time for me to embrace the independence that I have in this country, to even go after my goals and dreams and aspirations, to go after my 7-year challenge of attempting to increase my net worth to $500,000. This year for 2025, attempting to increase my net worth by $45,000. So you see, guys, I put out the numbers out there, but at a broad scope, looking to this thing through a telescope, looking this thing through a microscope, it's now all about the numbers. The numbers was for me to shoot for. Those numbers represent something. They represent more of my freedom, more of my independence to do what I want to do. Because the money, let's face it, in a capitalist society, money dictates what you want to do in your life, right? You can have all the goals and dreams and aspirations you want, but it has to be followed by something. It has to be funded by something. It has to be funded by what we value, right? In a capitalist society, we value currency, money, right? So I knew a long time ago that I wasn't gonna be dumb on that. I had to be smart on that, right? There's people walking around, no, money, it don't take money, money don't grow on trees, it don't take money, you can't take it with you. Money ain't everything. You know who say that, guys? People who are disillusioned enough where they got enough where they forgot where they came from. You know, the ultra rich, it's easy for them to say that, right? Or the ultra poor, right? I know a lot of those people, you know, the crab in the bucket mentalities, the downtrodden. I know a lot of those people. I left them behind, right? So that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. You know, letting your goals and dreams and aspirations correlate to your dollar figure, what your goals are, your money figure, your net worth figure, what you want, after this year, after next year, when you turn, 50, 55, 60, right? So I will tell you guys, don't let anybody sway, what you got going on. Don't let anybody sway. Be careful of the company you keep. I talked about that earlier, right? Watch those negative Nancys, man. Watch those Debbie Downers, right? Watch those downtrodden. They're circling around you, right? Because particularly in the black community, I know that all so well, right? Not just saying don't happen in other communities, but I can only talk for myself and where I come from, right? Crab in the bucket mentality, man. They're around you, right? So I'm gonna rejoice, guys, and rejoice my independence. Rejoice that, man, because this country is special. It's got its issues, but it's allowing me to rejoice in my independence. I'm not talking about the country's independence. That's great too. But I'm talking about my independence within the country, right? Allowing me to get up and go do this hustle and go make my money freely without me being hindered by anybody. And I can be free. I can be free. One of these videos I'm going to talk about what I learned from the immigrants, what I learned from people who are trying to make it. They came to this country, my African brothers and my brothers from the southern border, my Mexican brothers, right? My Latino brothers. They taught me some things, man. When I was disillusioned, right? Part of my story that I haven't told you guys about yet. I'm going to probably have a separate video on that. I'll work on that for you guys. And to tell you how I learned to be like this, to have an immigrant mentality. We'll talk about that. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. All right, K-2 is back and showing you my everyday grind. Not too bad to start the week. Not too good today, but just okay. All right. I'm going to have me some rice, broccoli, and beef for my dinner tonight. And I'm gonna get back home, and maybe I'll touch in with you guys a little later. I'm doing something special when I get home. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. If I don't talk to you, we'll get together again, and I'll show you my grind. All right, K-2s, you're welcome to always reach out to me. I'll leave my personal email. If anyone out there need help with their budgeting, let's get more people. It's not enough for me to be debt free and building wealth. I want more of you guys to come with me. Let's do it together, right? Anybody needing help, reach out to me. I'm specializing in budgeting, getting people right, getting their mind right, getting their numbers right in their budgeting to put them on a platform to build wealth, right? If you're new to the channel and like what you heard during this video, I'm asking you to do one important thing. Share this information with someone you care and love. There's this crazy guy online called K-2. He's doing some crazy stuff, showing us all around and showing us his numbers and figures, and he's actually debt-free and building wealth. He's kind of a weird guy, but hey, you might want to check him out. Share this with someone you care and love. They may use this information to their advantage long term, and who knows, maybe you can too. We've come too far to give up who we are. So let's take it to another level. Raise the bar. Only then can we toast to ancestor stars. Peace.